Hello YouTube and welcome again to Channel O. What you're looking at is my Craftsman 2-stage 179cc snowblower. This is a really nice snowblower and it goes through snow like crazy, but the problem I have right now is that it's not propelling itself. So what we have to do is find out why it's not working and attempt to fix it. Okay, what I've done is tilted it up on its auger end, and before I did that I drained or ran it down so most of the gasoline was out of it so it doesn't spill out. This is the serial number and model, and what I've done is found out that this product is actually made by MTD, and that's who you have to contact for parts, or at least to get the part number. But what I have done is diagnosed it and found out that this is the culprit. This is the transmission for the unit, and it does not use a friction disc, so it is not simple. I've called the local repair shop, and they said there is no repair for this. The part has to be taken out and replaced directly. So what I've done is gone to the internet, and actually through Amazon I have ordered a replacement transmission. And this is the replacement transmission, and the MTD site said that this part was obsoleted and updated by this part. So maybe this part won't break. Anyway, it looks pretty similar to the one that I have. So what I'm going to do is figure out how to take this apart. It looks like this whole thing, let's see, is going to mount in this underneath position. So this is the way it's going to look installed. All right. So looks like to replace it, we're going to need a long screwdriver just to get this spring in and out of position. What we're also going to need in order to get this gear off is a punch or a drift pin that's going to go punch out that roll pin. Originally I thought this was a hex key, but it's clearly not. Those are the things we're going to need to get. All right, to give myself some working room, I need to take these wheels off. These are 1/2-inch bolts, and we'll just pop the wheels off. But in order to have the resistance that you need, I needed to lock up the transmission. So I put, just by gravity, I put a pipe wrench here on this bail. And so that kind of puts the transmission into gear. So we'll see how easy this is. Actually, to be honest, I broke this already for you. So it comes right off. All right, so I'm going to take both wheels off. Not going to have that on video. And we'll see what's underneath that. Okay, I took the wheels off, or one of them. It's just a simple bolt. You see how it's got one side on it, so it only goes back on one way. It's keyed. This is a spacer and a washer, so we'll have to remember the washer goes toward the body of the machine. So we'll put these over here while I've got the other things. And we'll take the wheel off. Okay, now that we've got both wheels off, we can see what's going on inside here. Looks like that we can move that large gear back and forth. Have to figure out how to get the transmission shaft out. And that's a gear that we're going to move. Looks like the transmission shaft is held in by this cotter key, and I expect there's one on the other side. So what we're going to do is just straighten out that cotter key, both cotter keys, and pull them out. What I'm not sure about at this point is how I'm going to get enough play on the pulley. I'm thinking I might be able to shift the transmission inward enough to give me enough to free the pulley from the belt, but that's just what we're going to have to find out. Okay, I've straightened out that cotter key. Get you here. You can see that. I'll just see if I can tap it out here. We'll take that out. All right, that was simple. Put that down here. And looks like there's a little washer there. It slides right off. And we'll do that for the other side. There's the cotter key. Gently bend it. I'm planning on using these keys again if I can. Wow, that thing's just sliding out already. So let's see if I can straighten it out, because we're going to need to do this no matter what. And cotter keys out. Back in the temporary holding place with that in the washer. Now let's see what we got inside. And what I need to do, and it's still held in place. Of course, we got the mainspring here and the pulley. I'm going to have to relieve pressure here, and I think the best way to do that is with a very long screwdriver. And this looks like it's under a bit of pressure. So of course there's a potential getting hit in the face or the teeth with it, so we're going to have to be careful. Okay, back to the spring. I was figuring out some way to apply tension to this, and I think what I'm going to do, there's not a whole lot of tension on it because it's just held in place by this little stamped steel inlet. What I'm going to do is, and I can't do this on camera, I'm going to put the blade in here and use my thumb here and lift up. It should come off. Maybe I can do it on camera. It looks like there's not a whole lot to move, so I'll probably get it off this way pretty easily. So that's what I'm going to do. See how it's coming off? Of course, you can't see any of that. See how I'm doing that? It's just going to lift right off when I put my thumb there. So that'll be the next step. All right, that came right off. I wish you could have had that on film. There's not a whole lot of pressure here. There's enough. I mean, it takes a little bit of work, but no injuries were sustained. So now I've got that, and I think I've got enough slack to not have to pop the belt off underneath the cover. So I think this just is going to slide off. The sleeve is just a bearing. Just notice that, so that's good to know. Also good to take pictures of things like that. So I just did. And we'll see what comes up next. Okay, what we're doing here is just removing the bearings for the transmission shaft. Just a simple bearing on either side. Just going to pop those off and set them aside. Okay, what I need to do is get this spring off that lever. and I don't have enough slack here. So what we'll do is come up here, and here's the control bail. You'll see how it's pretty loose already, but look at what we have. Let's see if I can focus on this thing. All right, that's just a little right angle kind of metal lug that I'll pull pressure on, and it just comes out. Okay, see how I did that? Let's see. Just goes in like that. Get rid of the napkin. Trying to keep my hands a little grease free. So that's how that goes in. So that maybe gave us enough room to disconnect this. Let's find out. And of course the answer is no. It did. There we go. The answer is yes, it did. Just have to twist that out. Boy, I bet you I didn't get that on camera. So anyway, this goes right back in there. You just push it in and it pulls right out. All right, so now basically it looks like the transmission is free except for the gear. Let's see what we can get here. Let me see if I can get this on camera. Again, this is all being done by an Android phone. I didn't bring my camera on this trip. So I think if I push this in and over, that frees up a lot of space, and it frees it up enough to get that off. All right, there you go. Okay, I've just found out that this is a roll pin. You can see right through it. See there? There we go. So what I need to do is get a drift punch. Let's see, and punch that out. The issue is I don't have a drift punch here, so we'll have to go improvise and try to find one. So apparently there's a, okay, you can see the roll pin is still in there. However, I've been able to pull the mechanism out from the two holes. So now what I need to do, it won't come out, and that's okay because it won't come out because of this cable. So I'm just going to displace the cable so I'll be able to get the entire action out. All right, have to do that off video. Okay, so I loosened the housing here. See how the housing has that little groove. That's just clamped in here. Simple job. That gave me a lot of room. Hopefully that's going to give me enough room to pull this out. Let's see. There we go. So now I can at least kind of figure out how this works and why I can't get it out. So let's set it here. Looks very simple. There we go. So anyway, it looks like that pops out. I'll get back, do it off camera and get back to you. Okay, there we go. I just pressed those ears. Get those, see those ears? And they just press and slide right out. All right, there we go. All right, now we've got that out. What I have to do is get this roll pin out. I don't have a drift. So what I'm going to use is an Allen key and bang on this, see if that does it. We'll see. All right, I got to tell you folks, I gave up on this. I tried using the Allen key as a punch, wouldn't work. So I went down to the local hardware store, Hartville Hardware, and bought this Mayhew 1/8 inch punch. And I was concerned that this might be a press-on gear. The punch worked perfectly right through there. There's the, I bought extra roll pins just in case for 50 cents, but I got the roll pin there. And clearly the gear just slides off and on. So that makes my day. I just hope this whole thing works after I get it back, put back together again. All right, onto putting this back on the drive shaft of the new transmission. Okay, now I'm putting it back in. All I've done off camera is thread the cable housing back in. That just slipped in very simply, and I threaded it back through. Now what I need to do is put this in place, spin it a little bit so that we can get the pulley around here. Again, I don't think I can. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, maybe I can. Okay, the pulley's on. So now we've got tension there. I think the next thing I want to do is attach that spring back from here. Let's see, from here to here. That'll put pressure on this, keep it in place. But the big thing is I've got the housing fixed, this is connected, and the pulley's back on. So we'll put that spring on. Okay, at this point I've stretched the mainspring back into place. I've reattached the cables at their lug points. I've tightened up the housing, and now I'm going to put the bearing surfaces back in for the actual axle. I'll put the wheels on later, and the transmission shaft has to be fixed in place with the washers and the cotter keys, which is what I'm going to do right now. I've got to apologize for the quality and choppiness of this video. I did it with the Android phone, and that was pretty tough. Now we're going to see how this whole procedure worked out. We'll see if it starts up and see if it propels itself. All right then, this is our moment of truth. I'm going to start her up and see when I engage that bale if it works. So here we go. Auger bale. Sounds like it. Power bale. There we go. All right, YouTube, it looks like our little adventure paid off this time, so I hope you found it enjoyable and informative. And remember, when you have a choice, take the high road.